departures and how your progression not only today, with like Keith Wash and some others, but overall in spring ball?
You know, I'm really happy with our young guys. I mean, they're all young. Thought Brandon Watson did a good job today. But he's done a good job all spring, so that's not surprising. Laverne Hill's been hurt a lot, so him getting back and getting repetitions was good. David Long only made it for 3 quarters, but nothing serious, but he's been fighting it as well.
What's up, Robert?
So, you know, we really had to lean on the young guys, Ben St. Jude's, Ambry Thomas, and a couple of our younger roster guys, Mike Mitchell. And so all those guys were out and well informed today. Thought we did a pretty good job for, you know, a good chunk of the time. Obviously, there's so much to learn as a young player the first time you come in and play in front of an audience. It's just different. So I think it was an important task that we did it. You know, obviously, we were challenged on both sides of the ball. I'm sure Drev would feel the same way. You know, neither of us, you know, unveiled our attacks. But at the same time, you just want to see you guys compete and play hard and see where we can go technique and fundamental-wise.
Middle front row, Adam.
Don, remember Josh Uche didn't participate in bowl practices. Pretty close to blocking the punt today. Devin was in the backfield a lot.
Oh yeah, geez. Josh has had some good days. We have a few things special for him. So when we let him do those things, he's been exceptional. But he's got a long way to go. You know, again, he's a guy that was a defensive end in high school who I absolutely loved because he was fast. Now we're teaching him to play, you know, linebacker. That's a huge challenge for him. So, you know, that's a big deal. You know, Devin Bush is exactly what we knew he'd be in this type of environment. You know, he's played a year ago. You know, he's certainly right informed to, you know, step in there and do a good job. Between him, Mike McCray, and Robo helping out at times, you know, I feel good about those 3 guys. We're really looking for the 4th guy. And I'm not sure we know that yet. So from a linebacker standpoint, that would be my huge task. Sorry about that.
Is there anything that jumps out at you as far as progression for Devin? Is he faster? Is he stronger? Is he getting to the play?
Just look at him. You know, I teased him yesterday. He walked by me, he didn't have a shirt on. I go, I remember last year you were a short, pudgy guy. And he's chiseled. He's really, he's got a Division I body now. I'm asking him to play 2 positions, played pretty much 1 today. And very pleased with where he's at, obviously. You know, this is a day about individual evaluation. You know, again, I think Drev would say the same thing. Guys are playing out of sorts in different units and spots and all that, but it's about your performance individually, and just see where you take it, you know, from that standpoint.
Back left, Justin.
Tim, I'll start with you. Since you're, you know, comfortable up there, ready to answer this one. What is the number one thing that you look for individually in this spring, with it being kind of jumbled and switching teams at times? And
just look how they're handling the scheme, if they understand your concepts, if they're playing fast and physical, making good decisions. You know, in the competitiveness atmosphere, you know, just getting in there and seeing them competing and fixing the problem when the problem occurs, you know, through that. You know, that's the biggest thing. And then, you know, as you go through spring ball, it's, you know, it kind of starts to filter and guys start to raise up in positions you see. But it's a great atmosphere today to go out there and play in front of those crowd, and it's good for the younger guys in our program to experience that.
Other questions for Coach Drevno or Coach Brown? Raise your hand, I can get to you. Wojo, second row on the left here.
Don, people look at your defense and 10 starters gone, 1 star, and I know you've talked about you like the young talent. Have you seen enough progress through this spring to believe that if not the #1 defense in the country next year, it has the talent to be as?
Well, that's a mouthful right there.
Yes.
Without question. I'm very excited about our group. We've gotten really quality leadership on all 3 levels. Bo Hurst, Rashawn Gary is a young guy, but boy, he's been a leader. played very, very well throughout spring. Those two guys, I feel really, really good about. Brian Monet's had a solid spring. Chase Winovich is better. Obviously, we split those guys today. Really happy with Khalid Hudson and playing Viper. And, and I've said this 100 times, Glasgow's found a home, he's not a linebacker, he's not a safety. So we found him a home, and he's playing Viper, and he and Khalid will share that job and continue to compete, which you absolutely love. Noah Furbush has had a really good spring. You mentioned Uche. I told you about the linebackers. Tyree Cannell's been good. Nicked up a little bit towards the end of spring, but has shown me a lot of leadership and athleticism, and has played and played fast. So happy about him. Josh Patel's been nicked up. I think that showed a little bit today. Jamaric Woods didn't even take a snap, that was difficult for the Blue defense, because we had to go to another guy. And, I would have liked to have seen him get that work. He needs it. But we've got good young players at all three levels. The key is, in the way Coach Harbaugh does it, we get enough repetitions. They just went through, a season of football in spring, and now we'll repeat it again in August, and then we'll see kind of where we're at. And remember, we only have to put 11 out there, so that's kind of an important deal. But the competition will be keen, and we've got great young men that are in competition.
Middle right, Steve Kornacki.
Devin Bush was all over the field, it seemed like today. Talk about what he's given you this spring and the progress he's made from last season to now.
Well, when he came in, huge shoes to fill. We made him the number 2 will virtually when he walked in the door. I think Mike McCray was a really good role model for him. I think he really, he's a mature guy. Football's important to him. He's from a football family. I asked him in the beginning of spring, I said, listen, I want you and Mike and Robo to divide the work of the ones. I know what you're capable of. I know what Mike's capable of, and we wanted to make sure that we saw Robo in a highly competitive situation to see where he's at. So, he just welcomed the role. It's so nice when you have a young guy like that and he can play 2 spots. You could ask some guys to do that, and they look at you like, "Are you kidding me?" But he handled it really with ease.
He seems to have just a really good nose for the ball.
Yeah, he's good. He's a really good player. We're excited to see him when it's live and in color. That's for sure.
Middle left, Chris Ballas.
Coach Brown, can you talk about what you saw from the freshmen early enrollees?
Yeah. Let's see. I mentioned Jamaric didn't go, which I wish you'd have seen him today. He's really been showing some things. I thought Jalen Kelly-Powell jumped in there and did some good things. We fooled around with him, and we have fooled around with him a little bit at nickel and strong safety. So I thought he, certainly handled himself well out there today and did a good job with it. Ben St. Just, really solid for about 3 quarters. Struggled on a couple of fade balls at the end. But a lot of times that's focus and concentration of a young guy, and you're grinding, and that, just the mental fatigue of competing at a high level kind of gets to you. But I'm very, very confident as to where he will end up. He's 6'3", he's long, he's athletic, he's fast. Ambry Thomas is everything I thought he'd be. He just learns and gets better every day. He's not perfect. But we're asking all young guys, those are young guys, to compete in first and second left tiers. And, they've all handled it really well. Ben Mason at the Mike position, if you looked in his eyeballs, they'd be water in there because he's swimming. It's not an easy deal transitioning But we've seen some physical surges from him. You know, I think he's got a real chance to be a real tough guy between the tackles. And he runs really well for a big guy. And, you know, Jeter, you know, very, very interesting guy. Corey Malone Hatcher's been banged up. But I thought Jeter played very well out there today in a limited role. And you never know how that's going to go in your first time. But he really exceeded expectations of mine today.
We've got time for a few more, starting with John in the front right.
Coach Drevno, people try to draw conclusions out of one practice, but talk about Wilton Spate's effort over the course of spring ball so far.
It's been outstanding. Wilton's done a great job leading this team, leading the offense. He's really progressed under Pep. You know, Pep and Coach have really done a good job, and just his football awareness and seeing the whole field and reading coverages and different things with some protection things we're layering on him. And he's just really has done a good job understanding and does a great job leading us.
Steve, front right.
Yeah, going back to the early enrollees, both you guys can get in on this one. You guys have both been coaching a long time. Do you feel like high school kids are coming in more and more prepared than ever for the college game?
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's some kids that come in, they're ready, you know. You know, for example, like Cesar Ruiz comes from IMG Academy. You know, he's lived away. He understands the regimen of, you know, waking up and going to class and going to study hall and things. But there's some growing pains in there, but it's all good. You know, it's part of the process of them getting in here and getting their feet wet in college and meeting new people and meeting us as coaches and getting to know how our style of coaching and things. But they all have done a great job. They really have. And Coach Harbaugh does a good job leading it and really taking those guys underneath his wing and developing them, as well as us as coaches. You know, we're very, very conscientious of that. And that we're kind of like the mother hen, you know, just always double checking on them and making sure that we're protecting them because they're very, very important to us in this transition.
Okay, last question. We've got to get our players in here. Justin, back left.
You guys are turning the page and going to Rome now for a unique couple of practices. What are you guys expecting out of that, both personally and professionally?
I'm really excited about it. I think, you know, to be able to take the players over there and, you know, my wife's going to come and I know Coach's wife's going to come and just experience that, you know, as a team. What a great team bonding. Like share with the Italian people in Italy just the American game of football and take our players to different places and see the great history of Europe and Italy. And, you know, there's nothing better than that than the guys getting on a plane and going and stay together and practice over there. And it's going to be a phenomenal experience. So I'm really, 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 I'm excited about it. I mean, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll just second that. I mean, what a great opportunity for our players to have that opportunity where they're the only ones in college football who are going to get that opportunity this year. So you don't take that for granted. For me, we got 3 more practices over there. We got 1 next week. I got to think about getting ready for Air Force and the triple option. So that's going to be majority of my time. But I'm looking forward to going to Rome. And Coach has really got a tremendous plan for our players to experience that culture. So pretty exciting.
All right, thank you all for your time. We'll be taking the coaches out now and bringing in about 6 student athletes. So be ready to spread throughout the room, and please watch court and your back to the ground.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, good. You're welcome.
Yeah, we got some talent, man. Let's see. What's up, Gary? What's up, Sean? What's up, Sean? Oh, sorry. Hello. Okay. All right. What's up, Sean? Hey, good game.
So can you kind of talk about the difference that, you know, just being here second year, you know, all the guys have moved on and now it's, you know, it's your guys' turn.
It's a big difference. Shoot, freshman year is a lot to learn. Through Chris Byrne, we talked to her, and I learned that. And now it's my time to step up and have a leadership role. And I'm embracing that as best as I can, and getting the young guys behind me, and coming in ready to go.
Was that part of you being out in the field for the pregame toss? Because it was you and Mike and Wilton and you for it, right?
And Mason Cole.
Nice. Yeah, sorry. I knew I was missing something. Does that feel like, that's kind of, is that important to you to feel like it's, part of your team now as a leader, almost?
It just shows that the coaching staff see me as coming into a leadership role, and I'm embracing that. And, it's a good feeling, but that's just putting another chip on my shoulder. Just lead by example, and also verbally. I'm just gonna keep on pushing and do what I have to do.
I'm hearing more and more about how you've been a lot more vocal, both in practice, on the field, and everything like that. How much of a change has that been for you to be able to, like you said, going into a leadership role, but not only just going by your actions on the field, but vocally?
Oh yeah, it was weird because I'm a quiet guy. I like to lead more by example than talking. But I had to think back to how I was able to learn freshman year, and like I said, through Chris and Taco, and they were verbal to me. So I gotta do the same, and that's what I've been trying to do the best I can.
Rashawn, can you talk about the defense as a whole? How's that third level? I mean, you guys are pretty solid the first two levels, but how does the secondary blend in with what you guys are doing? How good can they be as a whole?
We can be as good as we want to be. That just comes back to practice and hard work. And we got the mindset that we want to be great, and we're just gonna keep pushing to be great. So that's what it is. But all three levels have things to work on. And we just gonna go back, pick the film apart, and just go back and practice and work for it.
Obviously, since you've been at Michigan, you've only known Don Brown's system. But how much have you noticed it being helping the players that have been in the system for a little bit longer? How much faster are they starting to play?
Oh yeah, Coach Brown defense. Once you get it, it's easy. You feel me? Once you get it, it's full speed ahead, and nothing's gonna change. So basically, all you gotta do is learn it. Once you learn it, it's a defense made for people to fly around and make plays and have fun with it.
Rashawn, is there anything that you're telling? Obviously the guys like Josh, Uche, maybe they didn't get the attention that you got, but still young and talented. Is there anything that you're talking with them? Josh has a bright for Devin.
Say that again.
What are you kind of talking with like Josh and Devin about? Maybe they didn't get quite the attention that you did, but obviously two very talented, important pieces of that class. What has been kind of the spring like? What are you talking with them?
Oh, with them, like I said, as we came in as a class 2016, we only expect greatness from each other. So, if I see something that they need to work on, or I feel like we could have made a play, I'm let them know. And it's the same for me. When you think that I need to push harder or go harder or anything I messed up on, you feel me? That's my job, and they're gonna let me know. Because, like I said, it's like a brotherhood. Once you join Michigan, it's a family. We just want everybody to be great. So if I see mistakes, things like that, we're gonna go watch film. We're gonna go over it so we can be great. That's about it.
What kind of satisfaction do you get? Josh almost blocked a punt. Devin was in the backfield a lot. What kind of satisfaction do you see getting those guys, play well?
It's great. Like I said, you see growth, and that's what we try to do, growth into the season. So when we get to the season, we're just flying around, making plays, having fun.
Where have you grown? Last spring game last year, you were coming out there and introducing you as part of. Where have you grown the most in the past year? Not even just football-wise. I know that you've talked about the leadership thing, but is there anything other than that?
Mentally, like I said before, that's just me hitting the playbook, taking that leadership role, because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to even try to embrace that role, and that's what I've been trying to do. Like I said before, Chris and Wormley, Chris Wormley, Taco Charter, they helped me along that way. So, I just got to do that.
How do you help guys not get overwhelmed? You know what I mean? It's because they're coming into Michigan. First thing we should start. Sorry, I didn't really know.
They drew him out of the paper. You blew up a few plays in the backfield there. So it feels like that
It's just our stuff. D-line moving, our timing, communication, that all fit.
Describe the personality of this defense.
This defense fast, aggressive, love to compete, love to win, hate to lose.
Coach Brown said that he saw you with your shirt off the other day, and just talking about how you've changed physically. And can you talk about that, the difference between last year and this year, and just transformation?
Just losing a lot of body fat, trying to put on as much as I can. me and Drevno will be playing to eat clean, stay away from fried food, carbs, bread. So we got to play so
You added or lost weight since last time?
I stayed the same, but I'm probably like 4 pounds under what I was before we started spring workouts.
Is there any
This year?
Is there any food in particular you've been really relying on?
Just salad, chicken, grilled chicken.
Yeah.
Nickname yet?
We always gonna stick with our same.
You were making one play today. Was it a matter of just being comfortable out there? I mean,
just being comfortable, trusting. You know, like you want to trust our coordinator, trust you, trust
when did you sort of have that comfort, that trust, that you knew what you were doing out there? You're past that, through that freshman ball.
I'm probably going to say the whole game. I watched the whole game.
Thank you.
Fine. I've been there. It's been amazing. They're so understanding. You guys are having a great time.
Just talking on your role for next year, obviously there's a good number of running backs. How do you see your role expanding kind of from last season? What do you think the difference may be this year as coach kept you up to date on that, or is that something you play by ear?
I really just do everything that's guys. Assistant coaches, whenever I'm coaching, I make sure I do it. I just need to, if I do start, so I get more carries. You feel like you guys, like that's what I'll do, but if I don't, I'll walk back. I'm just scared to support my team.
What's impressed you the most on the offensive line? Obviously, you got guys you prefer to have blocking, I'm sure.
Yeah, Mason Cole's a vet. He's been great since freshman All-American. And he's got a couple holes we need to fill, but I feel like everything will be good. But we got to block with Sean Geary in practice. So it makes it even if everybody looks bad. So, you know, we really don't know if we're good or not because Sean be doing his job.
Fans want to draw conclusions from a spring game for whatever reason. What do you take away as a player? When was the moment for you where you kind of like looking and seeing what you guys had going into next season?
I seen just people like running backs breaking through holes. I just when I watch running backs tapes, I just look how big the hole was. I just see how big the holes was, and I'm really excited for the offensive line this year. Coach Drevno is going to do a great job coaching them, getting ready for the season. That's what I'm encouraged.
What about Rome? Have you made any pre-conclusions about that trip coming up? I mean, that's got to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it ain't hit me yet that we're going to Rome yet. So by the time we get there and we start seeing like stuff that we see on TV, it's going to blow me away.
What's the one thing you're looking forward to seeing the most?
I don't really know what to expect. I'm just going to be going and just, I know that they was telling me about the leaning building, but that's not in there. The building that leans to the side.
Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Yeah, that's not in Rome, but I want to see that.
Coliseum?
Yeah.
That'll be pretty cool.
Thanks.
I like that.
How did you feel like the running backs performed as a group today?
Great. I feel like the running backs kept us poised and just made sure that like, they didn't get mad at the offensive linemen, and we did what we was coached. We kind of messed up on some minor stuff, but I feel like we did really good.
And what did you see out of the offensive line? I know it's not like the ones and the twos, but how did they look to you as a running back?
They was getting moving. At least we had 2 or 3-way goals. We didn't just like everybody was stuck. Like the first day of spring ball, it was like there was nowhere to run. So I feel like I seen people get better over time. I really like it.
Yeah. Did you feel like playing against this defense?
Being able to reel it back in
So I do better.
I had an 8 on I played yesterday for the first time this season. I took an 8 on the 9th hole.
Mike, what's up? You've probably been asked this a million times, but talking to us about the young guys, you know, Devin Bush, you know, guys stepped up, made some plays today.
Young guys, you know, they've been making plays all spring, practice. We're able to come out today, show them fast, and everybody else. So you can expect it. I expect a great season from everyone.
Okay. You excited to go to battle with them?
Of
course.
Of course.
What have you done for Devin Bush? I mean, Coach Brown mentioned that you sort of took him under your wing, so to speak, and came in as a freshman. What do you do? Are you hard on him? You point out certain things that he does? How's your approach?
I'm not hard on him. I joke with him sometimes.
So I appreciate it.
I get down. Tell him to move on, things like that. Teaching him like some of the things I know. I learned from him as well. Our styles are different. I guess we learn from each other.
How have you seen him grow? Because today he was obviously making some plays out there.
I think he's just more comfortable because he's been here since last spring. He's been here for a whole year now, so it's like he's more comfortable out there and just having fun.
Does he bring a different intangible that last year's group of linebackers didn't bring? Is there anything different about him? Obviously, he's a lot younger.
Yeah, he's a lot younger. Fresh legs. He's just a great player overall. Like, he does everything great.
Is there one thing that sticks out about him?
Just his grit. His aggressiveness. He's really aggressive. He goes far every play.
About 3 or 4 minutes.
You can just see it on the field.
He said that this defensive unit is more.
What's up, my friend? You all right? Good.
How's business?
Good.
Is that a trade you've always kind of had that feel, or is that something you kind of had to
No, that's okay. As long as we're all good. Nice day for all of us, huh?
When you were being recruited, I know one of the things is you were one of those few guys that never really had like a professional quarterback coach or like a type guy. Where does the talent come from, you think? I know you have a lot of athletes in your family. I mean, is that like kind of where you feel like it comes from? Or?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a good athlete. My high school quarterback coach
No, he saw me a lot.
What's his name?
Did you know that you were gonna play? You played every snap, right, for your team, or almost every snap?
Almost.
Yeah, I mean, did you? Was that kind of the intent from the beginning, just so you could get? And how was that described to you? What did Pep say? I mean, why did he say that was good? Obviously, John and Wilt were rotating.
Just how the draft happened. They drafted Horn, and obviously only half.
But they wanted to see you like get a lot of snaps. I mean, was that kind of some of the intent? Did he say that?
Just endurance wise, how did it feel playing that?
It's 4-hour practice.
Do they have a depth chart for you guys behind Wilt?
I have not seen that.
Is that important to you to know where you are in relation to John, or not, or does it matter?
You got Coach Harbaugh, Coach Hamilton, Coach Turner also was recently brought on. What's it like to have so many great quarterback minds in one room, like teaching you guys to become the best you can be?
Coach Turner's great too. Just getting knowledge from those.
How are you? Good, man. How about the
It's crazy.
Anything different in maybe Coach Hamilton's style than say Coach Fish? Like, just, not even X's and O's wise, but just maybe teaching style. Anything that noticeably different the way he goes about things?
Yeah, Coach Pep is he's really detailed with his coaching. Don't make you do something 100 times if he wants you to.
What's the thing you've improved on the most since the start of spring? More since the end of last year?
I would say my field vision. Yeah, I'm a lot better since last year.
What's your relationship like with Wilton?
I love Wilton. He's awesome. He's a great mentor. He's a great friend. Great quarterback. What's your favorite? We learn from each other. We have a good relationship.
He says you calm him down sometimes.
I calm him down?
Yeah, he says whenever his stress level gets high, he's a pretty chill guy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes yeah, I guess I have.
You mentioned earlier that you want to get more assertive, like in the huddle. I mean, is that, you're a calm guy in general? Is that something that you want to ratchet up at times?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's something I really need to work on.
Just be more assertive with your voice. Haven't heard.
What was your mentality during that 2-minute drill, like first of all, right after the blue team took over, and you had to drive down the field?
So the first play, I was like, let's call a deep shot. Coach was like, okay, let's do it. So we called a deep shot.
Was there something you saw on the defense that made you that, or was it just like your confidence in terms of like you thinking Nate's going to be able to pull?
I saw it was man coverage, and that route was perfect for man coverage, and just executed.
Brandon, could you describe? I mean, you look good delivery-wise. You look, comfortable in the pocket. Could you kind of just describe your feeling today? I mean, what was going through your mind? I mean, you appeared, kind of calm and calculated.
Right. Yeah. I was just make sure I knew my reads. For the play, I had a plan of what I was going to do. I just tried to execute as much as possible. We were hitting and executing.
Were there? I mean, I know it's a scrimmage, but I mean, were there
Sorry.
any nerves at all?
Not really. Maybe a little bit throughout the week. Just thinking about it. Once it came in the game, I wasn't nervous.
Is that more or less because the crowd, not football, you've played football, is it more or less kind of nerves, the crowd, environment, that kind of thing?
I think it was just, I was really comfortable with what we were doing. I was studying plays throughout the week. So I was just really comfortable, and I had really nothing to be nervous about.
Speaking of comfort, speaking of comfortable, are you comfortable doing this?
I'm not a big fan of media.
But not us personally, just you don't feel comfortable, or maybe it is personal.
You'll learn to dislike us.
What's your 40 time? Because you look pretty fast on that quarterback run, scramble.
In the combine thing,
yeah.
I think it was like a 4.8 something like that.
Not bad.
What have you seen from Tariq and Donovan?
They're great young players. I mean, they're raw talent. I mean, they're going to be really good. I think.
What are their strengths?
Donovan's explosive. He's really good off the line of scrimmage. Same with Tariq. He's really explosive. Makes really good routes. Cuts. They're both impressive.
What we saw from Tariq today, is that what you've seen all spring?
All right, y'all.
He gives 10 minutes for 30 guys.
I gave you 20 minutes.
Hey, thanks, Dave.